Welcome again, VOTOMS fans. So today we got this Assembled Troopers Marshy Dog 148 scale Actic gear is made by Takara. It's a line of these walking tanks called VOTOMS, which is a cartoon made by Sunrise. And this part number is AG-VTM02. Okay, and basically it's got a diorama and the robot is weathered. And it comes with figures, which is why I bought it. Although you do have to paint the figures. Seems to have some water splashing effects. I don't know what those are. And two rocks. And you can see this water slash rock thing. You can have crouch down mode and swap out some wheels and stuff like that. Obviously it's been quite damaged. But hopefully the robot and the parts are still good. These things are kind of like half model kits. Although the robot itself is pretty much done, you have to add parts from these screws to make it complete. So the Marshy Dog, if you're unfamiliar, you can go to mhq.net, and this one here has the tech specs of this thing. Hold on, let's get that over there. You can pause and read that, and then here, the little story. It's basically an underwater, waterproof walking tank. Alright, here's some images of some model kits you can buy. I just thought their box art was pretty cool. Alright, get that out. Let's go with the robot articulation a little bit. And just get a general idea of what this thing looks like. So, looks like the other Scope Dog, Marshy Dog I have reviewed in the past, but you can see there's a brown paint wash going on over this thing. So it's I do feel like I could do this myself. Yeah, it's not much of a paint wash, right? They did it as fast as they could at the factory. So I think you don't need to buy this particular one if you want to weather something yourself, but I was more after the figures and just to see what the diorama looks like. Alright, but like all these Actic gear lines, they have a lot of articulation and detail. Unfortunately, look at this antenna. This one's bent, and I'm afraid if I bend it back too much, it'll snap off, so I'll leave it alone. But the optics here, they're painted, you know, green, red, and you can rotate the optics here. Alright, so that's kind of neat. And not only can you rotate it, you can move the optics left and right in this visor. See, it's like that. So that's kind of neat for something so small. And then the visor will even open. So you can look inside, and there'll be a pilot figure to add later. The head itself can spin left and right, and then the cockpit will open, but you got to open up the rear. Like it literally has to lift up like this. See, now it can clear. And so it's got nice molded details here. You got to see some hoses, switchboards, or whatever. And there'll be a cockpit control thing to add later. All right, so I'll close that down for now. Gotta pop the back down again. There we go. And it's a nice tight, very tight fit there, being plastic to plastic. Alright, the shoulder here, this armor piece does move independently of the actual shoulder. The shoulder is in a ball peg system, so it can go up about that much, not too much, but you can rotate it in and out and all around like that. Then there's an upper bicep cut here, so you can spin this whole arm like that. Then you have a single hinge here for the elbow, and this piece here comes off very easily. See this little pin? I've lost some before, so I crazy glue those in place. I'll do that later. There's a arm punch here. So okay, and then the hands can be swapped out, and their ball peg system as well. So whoa, look at that! Looks like the armor actually is split in half. And it has a slot, so the armor can actually move up and down a little bit. So I'm probably going to have to add some glue to this a little later too. I'll just put that aside for now. Okay, so the torso here has just a swivel here. There's no rocker or anything. It can't tilt or anything. Nice little vent details there. You can see the brown paint wash filling in the panels there. And the main color is just molded a dark green. And then they painted this like more light green color on there, but the arm is just a molded color. But here on the torso it is actually paint, because it's the same piece of plastic. There's actually 6 little round, looks like revolver dots there. I'm not sure why, but The back here, we're gonna put in some pegs there for our backpack later, and there should be some things on the sprues to cover up those screw holes. All right. So all these little flaps here can go up and down. They're all articulating, and I think you could even swap this piece out probably. Oh, well, it's not actually swapped out. I think the tanks go there. So in the cartoon, these are like inflatable tanks, and in this case, you can just pop it to the bottom of this, I think. Oh no, it goes into this slot, like this maybe. Yeah, so it kind of, if it wants to float above on water, those things would balloon up. Alright, we put those on afterwards. So if you want to do the crouch down mode, I'll quickly do that because there aren't too... Oh, see, now this part fell off. This thing comes up, of course, and then you can move the leg back, and you can pull the leg apart. So the shin here, I'm going to just like wiggle it and pull, see? So that breaks open, and then maybe a little more. What's going on here? You pull the ankle down like this. For some reason, I cannot. I feel like this. There we go. Yeah. There's some more articulation. It's like a double joint here. 1, 2 inside of this shin. Alright, so like that. I could do the other one, but then that's how the pilots get in and out of these things. It's on the ground like this, and they climb up the thing and get in the cockpit. But it just looks so weird, you know, that I'd never display them this way. So I'm gonna put it back. It's interesting. This tiny little thing has a metal, you know, peg holding that, and whoa, kneecap fell off. And I can really see the mechanism. So. See, how do we get that back in? I think this has to slide somewhere. Oh, I see. So it slides in horizontally, and then this part flips up, and then that's how it goes back to normal. Alright, so looking in here for the hip, there's a ball peg as well. You can't see too much of it, but there's a peg with a ball on it, so the leg obviously can go back and forth and in and out and stuff. You saw the knee bend, but the armor collides with itself, so it doesn't bend much. Alright, before it starts breaking apart. So you saw the knee thing come off. This is another thing I've grown to crazy glue in place, which I'll do later. And then you have a front armor protecting this knee area here, and this like J-shaped peg has a ball on it going into the foot. So obviously you can get front and back, but you can also get a good amount of side-to-side rocker, so you can get some pretty dynamic poses there. Very neat. Some wheels are going to go in here later. They're on the molding sprues. Alright, so these are rubbery hoses. They're going to go into like some tanks that go into the backpack. So that's the basic articulation of this thing. This knee is asymmetric. Where'd that thing go again? This one doesn't have a hose, but this one always has a hose on these scope dogs. It doesn't have the pins that lock into the ground, it's just the drive wheels, and I'm not sure what these would be. It looked like on the box this thing opens for some reason, and it does. I just don't know why. Yeah, okay. Why would it do that? I don't know, but it does. Maybe it'll be in the instructions. Alright, so let's put that aside for now, all this stuff. I'll have to take some of these apart and glue them together later. Let's go into this diorama base. That's the next bag. This is my first 148 VOTOMS, or actually any VOTOMS that has a diorama. So that's interesting. This white is painted on. I thought it was just filth from the factory, but no, it's purposely pretending to be waves, I guess, but kind of haphazardly done. This green is actually translucent. You can see the light bouncing around in there, so that's kind of neat. And then obviously it's meant to fit these feet in a spread out position like this. So that's good. It doesn't actually want to fall over very easily. and it looks like it's kind of embedded in the water, so that's kind of neat. And then on this side we have some, you know, big bricks, big concrete pavement, but it's not flat, you know, it's like a war-torn scene. And there's paint on it, you know, it's got brown here, but gray and black. So that's very neat. The whole base itself is just black. There you go. Oh, this is from 2006. Okay. So that's pretty neat. Let's go into this bag here. So these are some rock pieces here with really long pegs. And yeah, just really cracked up pieces of concrete, I guess. So naturally, if you don't want to see those feet, you can kind of hide them with this. Maybe it's specific to one side though, because of that. I guess that's the best that's going to hide that one. This one hides that one pretty well. So now it's just like a watery scene. Alright, let's see what's in the next bag. So this thing here, we got some instructions it looks like, and a lot of parts. So yeah, the instructions say December 2006. These are the runners. They're supposed to be in the packaging, so you can see if you're missing parts. And then it just tells you, you know, what parts you clip off and put onto the thing and how to do it. It's kind of like the model kit building part of it. You have to build the gun yourself. Yeah, not that. We all pretty much covered all this stuff there. And then this is about the diorama, water effects. Oh, and a gun effect, right? And I still don't know what those are. There's a vertical wall piece apparently. So you can have the guy looking like that. And then these are the characters here. Sadly, it's all written in Japanese. I don't know. I know that's Rushako. Alright, so, and then some idea of the other figures from this collection, or robots from this collection. Takara Tomy fan club thing, never do that. This little card goes into a binder, and if you can read Japanese, it'll tell you the story behind all this stuff. Okay. I'm not sure if I've ever seen this. Oh, I think this is promoting a DVD series. Oh, and then Takara made these larger scale ones. I think these are 1/18 scale, yeah. These DMZs, and I've seen one in person. They're really nice. They're actually weathered and stuff, and you can actually fit a more realistic looking articulating figure into these cockpits. There's a scope dog, that thing. Look at that. Microman. Takara makes this line of 1/18 scale figures called Microman, although I've never purchased them myself. And then obviously the Actic gear, a couple other Actic gears, and I have videos on all these actually. So if you want to catch up on what was available, yeah, I'm pretty sure I reviewed all these, except for this. In this I haven't reviewed. But this will come one day. I'm definitely going to get that big rig. Maybe not that though. Okay, a little backing card here. This is a little piece of cardboard you can fold into a triangle, you know, and make a little name stand there. But alright, the last baggie here looks like it's got some painted pieces. So that's nice. Oh, I guess these are like branches or root systems or mold. Yeah, I can't really say they'd be roots because where's the tree? So maybe they're like some weird alien growth, right? The VOTOMS doesn't take place on Earth. It takes place on sci-fi planets. These are kind of strange water explosions, but I guess it's because this plastic isn't actually blue. This is green water, so it has green explosions in the water. And then we got those figures. I don't know who that is. That could be Vanilla Vartla, the comedic sidekick in the series. This is a pilot mask with a breathing chamber, and then the gun flare. This is the star of the cartoon series, Chiriko Kyubi. This is Rushako, a giant dude. Maybe this is vanilla Varla. Anyways, I'll have to paint those one day. Alright, I'm gonna, I guess I gotta clip these all off. And yeah, I guess I'll show you how to put this gun together. So yeah, they weathered all these gun pieces, so that's kind of nice. You'll see there's a left and right-handed gun, and there's a grip without a hand on it at all, so you can pose it without, holding the gun. And I really like how they molded this runner here with these little balls. They let the clippers get really tight to the part. I wish the Gundam model kits did this, but Bandai is not the same as Takara, I don't think. This probably wasn't the best background to use today, but it's a marshy dog. It's for swamp regions, so I thought I'd use this background today. Alright, so this thing, there's this fold out grip here. So that goes on this side here. And I think you can put these two halves of the gun together after that. Nice, really tight fit actually. Actually, it still doesn't even put together. Not sure why that isn't going together. There it goes. Well, let's snap something. Alright. So now you can, you can pop out the handles because it's not a complete circle there. So there's the grip now. And then the front of the gun, you got this little piece here. Alright. So that, and then the ammo can. The ammo can even has a brown paint wash on it. So you can see the brown paint wash on the gun, and it's definitely weathered. So it looks like it belongs in a marsh. Alright, let's see, those are the parts. Got this diorama piece, so you can put in this wall and any one of these holes. It's pretty loose though, the fit. Now this is definitely a tree looking thing. So now I'm inspired to clip the tree roots off of this. I feel like this is rubbery. Right? It's not regular plastic like the model kit. The robot and the last gun parts are like hard plastic, but this is definitely more rubbery, this one. Yeah, look at that. Alright, so you can, this one has just one peg, so I think it's smart that it has one peg because then you could rotate it anywhere you want it to. Maybe like right here. And this one seems to have one peg as well. Okay, so yeah, they don't really lay flat. I'm sure they're designed for a specific area because these bricks aren't all level, but I'm not going to waste time trying to figure that out right now. Alright, well, pretty cool. And then, yeah, you can have this rubble here as well. Whatever. Alright, now these little weird gun explosions. So again, this is like that more rubbery plastic. So naturally, I would assume you'd probably want to put them in the water areas. I was kind of weird though is like, why are there 2 extra holes in the water if they only give you 3 explosions? You wouldn't have a person standing on water, right? So it's like they should either give you 6 of these explosions, because there's 3 extra holes here. Alright, so that's kind of weird, I think. You know, they're not to just have these random visible holes. So that's unfortunate. And it's like they could have easily fit in 3 more in this runner here. Oh well. This is the handle for the pilot to grab on to get into the actual machine. This is just raw plastic, it's not painted. Now this you gotta be really careful putting in. I found that even though I clipped that pretty close, it's good to actually file this piece down. So I use this nanoglass file. Try to get those clippings off better, because it's a really tight fit. Takara is just as good of a friction fit as Bandai with their Gundam kits, it seems. So if you push too hard, you'll probably break the piece. It has to go in horizontally. Yeah, I feel like it's yeah, the holes are too small. I guess you could also, if you have micro drills, drill out the holes. So let me just do this off camera. Well, since I paused anyways, I just cut everything off the runners, save some time. All the figures are on these really rubbery things as well, and I don't like it actually, because I'm afraid that if I paint these and I flex them, the paint's gonna crack. And worse, it might actually crack off the figure. I accidentally cut one piece too much. I wasn't paying attention, and there should be a stub there, and I totally cut it off. But let's see if it works anyways. Just look at the instructions here. This is part of the backpack. I guess I gotta hold this way. This has to go in there. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna make a difference, luckily. Boy, I can't get around. There's like teeth here. They're supposed to get around this. There we go. Okay. So that's some sort of... Actually, there's a piece missing out of this one. I see. So the hinge is like this. Gets trapped here. Alright, so luckily that missing chunk is just like a spacer for between these tanks, but I don't think you're going to see it much anyway, so I lucked out. But I have to trap the hoses here to get into this thing. So kind of hard to do. Maybe if I put this on partially, yeah, that might be better. Okay, squeeze that. There we go. And actually, you know, you're going to be missing chunks of paint when you clip them off the sprues. You'd have to repaint the whole thing if you want it to be better. I got to put the hooks on the back here. And oddly, there's nothing covering up these screws. Other VOTOMs, they do have little pieces that go there. But maybe because this thing has this backpack, they just decided to save on cost and not have that. I'm not sure. Strange. Where's the other hook? Just click in. Actually, literally has to flex to get in there. I think maybe you put it in the top. Yeah, the top first, and it'll be easier. Alright, so now that backpack is going to hook onto these hooks here. It's supposed to. that's hook. This side, okay, it just takes a little force. It doesn't pivot up or anything, or does it? No, I see, that part doesn't pivot, but the back part does. So when you do the crouch down method, you can still leave the backpack on. So that's a really smart design. But you guys, it's really unsightly. You can see the amount of plastic missing there because I just cut it off poorly. Alright. I noticed also it came with 2 pilots, which is great because I can put some of these other pilots in my Bandai VOTOMS. So this one is actually weathered as well with that same brown paint wash. So I'm going to paint this one and I guess just leave this in here. So let's pop this up. You put the pilot in first, just got to get around that rectangle there for the cockpit controls. So it's like that. And then it also came with 2 cockpit controls. A weathered one, like this. There. And it also had a gray one, so you can repaint that one as well. Okay, I gotta put in that front grab handle. Where does that thing go? Oh boy. Alright, they found off the extra flash there, so hopefully it should fit in there. No, it's still 2. Well, no, not good enough. Mess with that some more. Well, finally got it in there. Alright, so now you have 2 wheel choices. You have these wheels with teeth, or you just have smooth wheels. I'm assuming this is for like smooth surfaces, like a car tire, and this is for marshy surfaces. The bottom is kind of hollowed out, so I think you want to keep the brown on the top, so it's, you know, they can see the weathering. You just got to push it past these pegs. Unfortunately, what I'm afraid of is shearing the peg off, but it worked. Kind of like leverage this bottom one to flex around it. Come on. Okay, so those freewheel. There's these little weathered D-rings here for the shoulders. Little hanging rings. They get helicoptered into battle very often, these VOTOMs. In the cartoon, that is. Yeah, so that's nice. That one's tight. What else? Yeah, you could swap out that little thing to take the tank, and this is just 3 ammo cartridges for the arm punch, but I'm not going to bother doing that. One thing I also noticed, the Chiroko QV, see, he's trying to get in and out of the cockpit, and he's got a big rectangle on his hand, and that's to hold the mask. Nope. It's really small. And the hole is offset a little bit, so I'm assuming it goes like this. Right, so that's kind of neat. You also have the 2 extra open weathered hands, which I didn't clip off very nicely. So that's, oh, these little armor pieces go on the back of the wrists. Shear off those pins. Okay. Alright, very cool. And then, yeah, I guess I'll show you swapping out this thing. Swapping out this hand. Pull it sideways maybe, or pull it straight out. I always forget. I think maybe it comes out at an angle. Yeah, I pulled it like at a 45-degree angle. Putting the new hand in, though, I always just push it right in through the side. And then I rotate it back to this position. Okay. So actually, now that I think of it, this actually has 3 pilot figures. You know, 2 sitting down and then the one with the actual removable thing. What's weird is the scaling. The scaling is totally different. Look at this seated figure versus this standing figure, right? It's like 2 different worlds. Alright, so let's look at some other ones. Here's the stock one I have, you know, without the weathering effects. It's still a great fake toy robot. This next one is either called a snapping turtle or a standing turtle. I forget. One is blue, one is green. They just call them different things because of the color. It's weird. This one is called a diving beetle. This will be the last one here. So I have a feeling all of these have to do with marshlands and jungles and stuff. So yeah, the scope dogs are smaller than all the other robots in the series, it seems. So yeah, these figures, although they look bigger, they look perfectly fine next to these other larger ones. So naturally, I think I'm gonna have to probably try painting these figures because they look pretty weak, right, as they are. They just look like a bunch of ghosts hanging out behind a fighting robot. I don't know why the robot is facing that direction. I think it would have been smarter if this robot was facing that direction so you could see all the figures with the robot behind it. But right now you can only see the robot with small figures behind the robot. So that's a strange design decision. Yeah, strange design decision there by Takara. Very odd. And there's still a few holes, you know, visible here, here on the bricks and stuff like that. I do like the idea of the characters actually having a little bit of a foot stand because you can kind of shim them underneath the roots or the bricks, and that'll help keep them standing. Without that tension, you can just see what the guy's gonna do. He's gonna fall down. Alright guys, well, that's it for today's VOTOMS show. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully it motivated you to go get some of these. You gotta search online though, and I hate to say it, they're quite expensive because they're all out of print now. Alright, I'll see you guys, bye.